All right. Well, welcome to Pet City Improv.
Oh, fuck you. Um, no one has ever died from too much weed. I cannot stress this enough. I have tried to kill myself with weed. God, I did make this a downer. Um, I will say this: if you could, the only way you could die from too much weed, I imagine, is like if you were in a warehouse full of it and you didn't realize like it was a warehouse full of weed because it's all really dry. I feel like if you sparked a match in a warehouse full of weed, it would just like immediately. Yeah, Robbie's shaking his head. He agrees. It would immediately like just light up the entire warehouse, and I feel like that's how you die from too much weed. So I guess like it's too much weed in the sense that like you spent like years like stockpiling weed. Like over the last 30 years, you've just been growing and stockpiling weed and building larger silos so you can continue to build and build more weed. And then you're 80 years old and you've amassed like this incredible weed fortune where you're like, look at how much weed I have. Look at all these silos full of weed. And you have like all of your friends with you on a tour. And like, hey guys, look at all this weed. And they're like, yeah, that's really impressive, I guess, Grandpa. And you're like, no, shut up. Look at this weed. Look at it. This is what I did over my lifetime. And someone's like, well, are we ever going to smoke this? You're like, no, I'll never smoke this weed. And then someone lights a cigarette at that point, and then it just lights up the entire building. You just watch that. You just watch that come down around you, and it just kills you and all of your family. I guess that's to be the first person to die from too much weed. I'm just gonna make all these bummers. Let's go for the next one.
Mm,
Tootsie Roll trauma. Well, this is every middle school at lunchtime, at least during Halloween. Or is that drama? I'm not thinking trauma. This is when your sibling, if you have one, takes your Tootsie Roll, and then you're like, I don't really care. I don't like the weird chocolatey flavor. Is it supposed to be chocolate? I don't. It's like, it looks kind of like chocolate, but it's more like boiled sugar. It's like boiled sugar with a thin wrapper. It's I don't know. I guess it could pull your cavity fillings out, you know. That's probably traumatic. Yeah, dental work when you get a filling and then it just gets pulled out with something that's worth less than a cent. You're like, oh, yeah, my health is at stake. Sorry, Grandma. I don't. Sorry, Grandpa, for the. Thanks for the socks for Christmas and the filling you have to help my parents pay for. I don't. Trauma. Either that, maybe you find like a pebble in your Tootsie Roll, some kind of defect, candy. When you get the rat poop in your candy, and then you're like, "What is that rat poop?" And then it talks back at you, and it's like, "Yeah, I'm the rat poop in your candy," and I'm like, "Oh, is this psychedelic mushrooms in here? And am I 32? Oh wait, did you melt down Tootsie Roll Pops and put psychedelic mushrooms?" Oh yeah, I usually eat them with peanut butter, but next slide.
Olympic speed walking. Oh boy, there's a bunch of prompts. Olympic speed walking. You can get exercise and keep on talking. Yeah. Make sure you never have both feet off the ground at one time. I think that's the rule. 'Cause then speed walking, you can run really fast, but also still look like a fool. You will look silly. You will look dumb. But it's good exercise. So there's that. It was in that episode of Malcolm in the Middle. I remember seeing it when I was little. It's a pretty clever rhyme right there. All right, I'm going to move on to the start signs instead of stop signs. What would the point of that be? People are already doing that, don't you see? Would they be nonagons instead of octagons? Is that the term? Nonagons? I think it is. With the 9 sides. And they'd be green. You know what? They would be just positive. Because if it just says, you see a sign that says start, maybe you're feeling really unmotivated in life. And you're like, oh, hey, you know what? All right. Now I'm going to talk about the never-ending yo-yo to finish this song. Never-ending yo-yo. It unraveled. It kept unraveling. And then it suddenly took over the kids' whole entire house. And they had to move because the house was full of yo-yo string. Joy it did not bring. The yo-yo kept going, the string kept flowing, and no one was knowing what would happen. The yo-yo kept going, it took over the whole planet. And then everyone died. Do, 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 do. There's that one.